Hi, I'm Ernie Zohr, and this is Puritas Spring Software's 55th Frequently Asked Question video. The subject of this video is a button that typically sits unnoticed and unused on the Windows taskbar. In Windows 10, it was referred to as the TaskView button, or icon if you will. It's to the immediate right of the Type Here to Search box in the lower left corner of the screen. In Windows 11, it doesn't have a name, so I call it the desktop button, but it's in the same relative space to the left of the Type Here to Search button, so shouldn't have too much trouble finding it. Now, the computer that you're looking at is a Windows 11 computer, and it's on the screen right now. And you can see the Type Here to Search box. It reads a little differently in Windows 11 than it does in Windows 10. But it's in the same place relative to the Start button. And the only thing that Windows 11 has done is moved it from over here in the left, moved it over here to the right, to the center of the screen. Not sure. That must be a better change. I'll give you fair warning. Although this is a very cool trick, I can only give you an example in this video of how to use it. The key part is that you'll need to recognize the repetitive tasks that you do once a day or once a week or once a month or whatever. The point is that when you arrange your apps on the screen in a particular way for the purpose of doing some task, that's when you should be thinking about the desktop button. Ironically, that even applies to people with multiple monitors. They may still find themselves arranging one or both of the screens in a particularly convenient way. So if you've got multiple monitors, don't count this version out. Or don't count this Windows tool out, I should say. One of the things I do each day is talk to law offices. And you know, it surprises me how many offices have multiple monitors. Now, I guess I should confess I'm not really fond of clients that have better systems than I have, but I will grudgingly admit that they are super handy to have. In today's terminology, that would be uber handy. They're great. Multiple monitors, that is. They're great. And I can only think of two negatives. One would be the cost of having to buy two monitors. And the second would be the desktop space that two monitors takes up. So if you've got a really big desk and it doesn't matter, excellent. But if you're kind of cramped for space, two monitors might make you need to rethink or reorganize your entire desktop. And I'm not talking about the computer desktop, I'm talking about the physical desktop. Now, using the desktop button, you have many of the benefits of multiple monitors. The advantages is that one advantage, I should say, is that there's no limits on how many desktops you can have. Now, the drawback compared to multiple monitors is that you can't drag content from one monitor to the other. And I'm pretty sure you can do that with multiple monitors, and that's great. Very handy. Can't do that with the desktop button. You know what? Truthfully, I'm not really sure that you can't do it with virtual desktops created with the desktop button. I suppose it's possible, and I should just say that I don't really know how it's done. I don't think it can be done, but I'll admit that I don't know how it can be done, if it can be done. Wow, that makes sense? Well, you know what I mean. Okay, now, it would be an interesting subject to Google, but I'm not going to do that now. Anyway, the best advantage of multiple monitors is that you can see more. I can't imagine a time when larger isn't better when it comes to monitors. Does that sound funny? Anyway, the additional screen space is terrific. Now, I've explained what the desktop button does and how it might be helpful, But let's take a look at how it works by trying it out. When you start Windows, you may see something like what you see on my screen. It's just a bunch of icons that you use them often enough that you've kind of arranged them for yourself, and that's great. Most days, you may even find yourself arranging apps or windows in specific ways that are also convenient for you. In fact, right now, I'm going to demonstrate a daily task of copying, or let's say backing up, specific files from one folder to another. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the desktop button, which I showed you before. It's right there. And, you know, normally, I think I already practiced this once before the video started, so if you were to do this, it would your desktop button would look like this if you've never done it before. And then when you click on the new desktop button, that's when you get your desktop number 2. So that number 2 was in there because I had already done it and I forgot to erase it in preparation of making the video. Anyway, let's go. I'm going to click on desktop 2, and you see it's basically a copy of desktop 1. It looks like a blank desktop. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain how this can be used to back up files or drag files from one place to another. So let me do one thing. I'm going to go to let me grab a first folder. I'm going to go to this Puritas folder and set it up on that side. And then what's next? I will go to where is that? That's on this PC. All right. Let's say I'm going to go to the network, which could be the cloud or whatever. This is a completely different computer. We'll go to the users folder arbitrarily. I mean, you'll have a place where you want to copy a file, and I'm going to talk about copying files in a moment also. But then if it was probate, let's say, I'm going to go in the probate, and I could grab the whole probate folder. Watch, I'll do it right now. I can grab the whole Puritas folder for that matter, but I'm just going to think small here. I'm going to take the probate folder, BOPF8, drag it over here, and I need permission. Destination folder access denied. Okay, you know why I think that is? Because the permission is actually inside the public folder, and I wasn't inside the public folder. So if I'm right, it will work right now. I know that this is building up a lot of excitement that you didn't expect to find in a YouTube video on a subject like this, but in order to build up the drama even more, I'm going to ask, Alexa, will you play a drum roll?
Here's Drum Roll by TaskView on Amazon Music.
Alexa, stop. Hey, that's a good example of how Alexa usually screws up a lot of times. Anyway, I wanted a drum roll, and we all know what a drum roll is. Apparently, she doesn't know what a drum roll is. But anyway, so that took all the fun out of it, and we'll probably have to edit out that last minute there. But anyway, let's go. I'm going to grab the probate. I'm going to go into the files, and we've got a file here called sample. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this sample file over to temp. That's a good place for it, right? And, well, here's the thing. Either nothing happened, or we're going to see that sample file in here. And there it is. Yeah, all right. Hey, you know what? It happened so fast. Quicker than the eye. That's pretty quick. Anyway, that's pretty cool. That's the demonstration, really, on how you would use this desktop button. Now, let's say I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. So I go to the desktop button again. I go back. Wait, what is this? I go back to desktop, the other desktop, the desktop that I didn't set up like that. And now you probably have noticed that the desktop that I customized was actually number 1. I wanted to do that with number 2, but it really doesn't matter. The point is that by just using the desktop button here, I can go between the two desktops. So let's say later on in the day, I want to copy that file again because we use it all day long. I would just, instead of having to set this one up on the right and set this window up on the left, I would just go back to the desktop button and bring the screen up, and I don't have to do all that. All I got to do is grab the sample file and drag it back over there. How easy could that be? So it does save time, and the more complicated your setups, let's say you had 4 applications that you worked between, maybe, and incidentally, I was going to say this, and I'm sure it's going to come up in my script here, but this isn't a video that we're making about copying files. That's not it at all. Copying files is just one very simplistic example of what you can do with the desktop button. The desktop button is for when you recognize that, hey, you know what? Once a day, every time I use the computer, or even several times a day, I'm setting up this screen like this. I'm opening this window, I'm putting it in the corner, I'm bringing up this other window, and maybe copying and pasting text between 2 documents, or there's a lot of stuff here. So don't sell it short just because I gave you a stupid example of simply copying a disk. It can be used for a lot of different things, and I think a law office would really be able to capitalize in it. Now, there is a drawback to these virtual desktops, I'll call them that, and it is that they can't be saved from one session to another. Isn't that a killer negative on that? Therefore, if you're a lab like us, our computers are on 24/7, and we always have access to the desktops we created. However, if you shut your computer off every night when you're going home, you would lose any desktops that you created, so the next morning you'd have to recreate them again. That still may be a convenience, but certainly not as much as you were able to save them. And I contacted, or no, I didn't really contact, I Googled this very subject about whether you can save desktops, because I thought, boy, what an important thing that would be. But as it turned out, from what I can tell, you can't. Well, that's it. And remember, I think I just said this, I'll repeat it again. This video isn't about copying files. There are dozens of ways to copy files. It's about recognizing frequently used screen arrangements that you can temporarily store using the desktop button. And that way you can flip back to them whenever you want with the simple click. Right. I think the bottom line is that if you keep your computers on 24/7, this tool can come in real handy. Or also if you return to certain screen setups frequently during the day. Again, it could be very handy. Hey, anyway, I'm telling you the truth when I say it's been a pleasure talking to you, and I want to thank you for watching. If you thought there was merit to this video, hopefully you did, click the like button. You support our channel by doing that, and you let us know that we're doing something that's worthwhile. Also, if you've seen our other videos and you like the drift of what we're doing, click subscribe and we'll let you know when each new video is published. Now I know you're busy, so you have my special thanks for watching. Until next month, stay healthy and happy, and I wish you all the best.